What's up, guys? It's Bryce from Reviews to Rambles, and today I am going to walk you through how to change the pop pins on the Pepin dumbbells in order to give them that low profile so you don't inadvertently bump it and disengage the pop pin when you're working out. I'm also going to show you how to change the pop pin on the adder weights to this knurled pop pin. These products that I have that I'm going to walk through adding, those were from Mountain Biker. I will put a link to his eBay page. I just bought them from him. I'm not affiliated with him whatsoever, but I do really like the pins that he's put together. It's basically a kit. It comes with everything you need except for Loctite. So you'll just need a little Loctite. Preferably the purple Loctite. I'll walk you through that in the video. But either way, I'm going to walk through these and show you kind of how to get these added. Are they absolutely necessary? No, they are not. Do they look cool? Absolutely. Could they potentially help to prevent an injury? Maybe, right? I have had a guy in town, a buddy of mine, who ended up having one of these plates drop on his face because the small pop pin that adds these adder weights is a little bit shorter than this pop pin. And if the plates are shaking at all, the pop pins are designed to slide out when they come against this rounded surface, and so they're bumping against the rounded surface. So it's possible that when his were shaking, the plate fell out and then it smacked him in the face. So, you know, he did reach out, and obviously Rep tried to make it right. They sent him another one, but he said that that one had very similar problems. Luckily this time he didn't put it over his face before he tested it. He just tested it without it over his face, and he said it still was pretty loose, so he didn't feel comfortable with it. So he got these ones, told me about them, said how great they were, so I figured I'd give them a shot, show you guys, and then put them in. Now for these, they do have a locking mechanism on the pop pin so that you're supposed to be able to slide them in, and then you could just flip it and then it pops and engages. So I'll show you that again. So basically you just flip it, pops and engages. I don't even use that. I literally just drop them in. So I've got my set right here, and then I just drop them like so, and it's locked. It's literally locked in place. So it's not going anywhere. But that's how I like to do it. Now there is a chance that it could ding up the paint a little bit as it enters, but I haven't really found that to be much of an issue because at the end of the day, I think that paint is gonna get a little dinged up there anyway over the next few years. So enjoy the video, guys, and let me know if you have any questions. If you like this kind of content, just shoot me a follow and give me a thumbs up. I always appreciate those if you like the video. If you didn't like the video, let me know what kind of videos you would like to see, and then I can see if I can do some more content on that. I do love to try out different equipment. I'm not directly affiliated with any company, so my goal is to give you as unbiased review as possible and give you the pros and cons of all these different products. But overall, this particular product by Mountain Biker, I'm really enjoying. I like it a lot, and I think you guys would like it if you have the Pepins. And if you do, I think the $50 price tag to get it is probably not outside of your budget, so I would highly recommend picking them up. All right, guys, enjoy. I am just going to do a quick walkthrough. I got the changed parts for the Pepin Fast Series. This is the Rep and Pepin combo dumbbell. The main concern is that people feel that the actual pusher is too long. So if you have it set at somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 or 60, it can actually bump your hands depending on the type of movement that you're doing. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really had that as a major problem, but I did think that the new parts that were put together by Mountain Biker, you can find him on eBay, just looked cooler, and they look like something that I'd like to add. You can also pull the clip out so that the clip has a quick spring release. So if you wanted to just pull them out and keep them out within the actual change plates, then they won't actually catch on the dumbbell set. You just have to make sure that they're actually in place before you start to use them. Otherwise, there's no catch to prevent the change plates from falling on your face. So that's less than ideal, but basically let's see kind of what the parts are that came with it. So essentially you'll need your 4 change plates. These are the original pins. You can see they have this ring, which looks like a keychain ring. And so you can pull that. It's spring loaded. So honestly, it's not a bad design because you can just slide your finger in. It's very easy to pull. I really didn't mind it, if I'm being completely honest. But you know, I can see the allure of having a nice knurled piece, which is why I ended up getting it. And then also, I did not want to take the chance of ultimately having a problem with these later down the road. I did have a buddy who did have one of these fall on his face a couple weeks ago, so I wanted to actually just preemptively make some of these changes. So you'll need your 4 change plates. You'll need the parts from Mountain Biker, which once again, you can find him on eBay. I believe it's MTNBKR or BYKR. I'll put a link to it down below. But you're also going to need your Rep and Pepin combo units. I bet you can actually do this on the standard Pepins if you wanted to as well. I have not verified that though. And so what you'll need is you'll need a number 4 Allen wrench, which you can just pop in here. And then you'll need an 8mm wrench, which you can actually, which attaches here on the other side. And then it also attaches and allows you to crank these down. The last piece you'll need is some Loctite. In general, it's recommended that you use Loctite Light as opposed to the kind of medium or strong. All right, guys, so let's just do the first one together. This way we'll do it on regular speed, and then I'll speed it up for the other ones. So that way you can kind of see me struggle a little bit as well, and we can kind of talk through some of the things that we're doing here. So first thing that we'll do is we will set up our 8mm wrench. Remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. It gets me through just about everything when it comes to building things. So if you've ever been to IKEA, you know that old adage. Here's the original push pin. So you can see it's actually a pretty thick pin, and I'm just noticing it's a little thicker. Oh no, it's actually about the same size as the pin. The pin that came from Mountain Biker is actually more flush and solid. So whereas the one directly from Rep and Pepin is a little bit more rounded. I don't know if you can kind of make that out, but so anyway, but this one has this badass knurling, which is, you know, of course, what you should have on everything metal in your gym. So anyway, so here's this. So now we've got the, we have to apply some Loctite, and then we end up screwing this in. Remember, the easiest way for me is I look for the warning sticker. The warning sticker should be facing out towards you. So that's where the head of the pin should be. So you're going to screw it in right here. Now, these aren't going to crank all the way through. And the other, like you won't need a wrench to put this one in, which is once again why you want to use the Loctite. The other thing is just remember that these have a mechanism. It's a spring-loaded mechanism in here where you can twist them, open and close them. And so just remember that you don't want to get the Loctite up in this mechanism. So you just need a tiny little drop, and we will try that. This is honestly probably the first time I've used Loctite in a long time. I used to do watches and things like that, and so you put Loctite in on some of the bands and things with watches, but I haven't used it in ages. But oh, that was probably a lot actually. So we goobered it. So that was probably, I'd say, twice at least of what you'll need. I just want to make sure it doesn't get into the mechanism. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and start screwing it in. I'm going to leave it face down so gravity has some effect. So that way it won't kind of roll back up, because the threads is where those end, is where the mechanism starts. The other thing that you want to make sure is that you can see when you twist it in, You just want to make sure you keep twisting, and you don't want this piece all the way out like this, because then it won't pop out. So see this metal piece right here, how it kind of came out. So you just want to make sure that thing's flush. And by flush, I'm actually going to go slightly recessed. But remember, the more recessed it is, the closer it'll be to your hands. But to me, that actually seems just about right. So you can't even, you can't touch it when you're rolling by. So the mechanism seems to work. Everything seems to be intact. Now I'm going to lay it flat. And one down, mini to go. And then now what we'll do is we will try to do the same thing to this actual dumbbell. So let us take this piece off. So for this, we'll need the 4 Allen wrench and the 8mm wrench. And so you just put the wrench in. You can see there's actually the grooves there to catch for the wrench. So I am just going to put the wrench in here like so. And then I am going to lock the Allen key in here. You can see how that's locked. And then we're going to just apply our old adage, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. You have to put a little bit of torque on it. I was actually honestly expecting to have to put more torque on it, but just a little bit to kind of get it going. I don't know that they've actually put any Loctite on this. They might have, or put some kind of lock on there, but it does not seem like there's that much on there. So, all right, we basically pop these out. So let's see. So they did have some. You can see theirs is right here. This red that is, and so now we can know that red is dead for these ones. So we're going to set that over here. And one thing, let's just see how long these are compared to the other ones. So these are all the mechanisms that came out. I should have probably paid more attention as I just pulled that out. But we can look at the other one and kind of get an idea. But I think it's pretty obvious, right? So this one slides into the slope. So you'll see that slope in there. So this is where the screw slides into. And then it goes through to the other side. And this slides in like so. And I think it actually goes this way because in that way we were able to get a hold of it with the Allen wrench. So, the wrench. So anyway, so there is how that's set up. So we're going to need this piece. Remember, we got these pieces back when we ordered them from Mountain Biker. So we're going to set the piece that we need aside. And then let's just look at the size difference between these two. Oh yeah, look at that. So this screw is shorter. You can see how that screw is shorter there from Mountain Biker. And then let's see how this nut compares to the ones from Mountain Biker. It's not even a comparison. Like, look at that. That thing is super pudgy comparatively. Look at that. So, we've basically got a little stumpy version. So this one might be a little harder to grab with the Allen wrench, but you can see that there's still enough surface to get in there. I keep saying the Allen wrench, but with the wrench itself, the Allen wrench will be fine on the other side. That's with this one. All right, so red one is dead one. I'm going to save these because I don't want to lose the originals. I don't know why, but you know how that goes. You end up saving all the parts. I've got like a toolbox on its own full of old parts that I might use one day, which we all know that translates into they just sit there. Although I will say every once in a while you find that one thing that you need and you're like, all right, I told you so, because my wife always gives me a hard time. She's like, Bryce, are you going to get rid of this stuff? She's like, what are you going to ever do with that? And then all of a sudden we need one. And she's like, well, we could have bought that at the store. And so, yeah, anyway, but we didn't have to because I saved it. So, all right, so here is our new pieces. And then here is the mechanism that we need, right? So remember, this is the one I saved, the original. This is the one from Mountain Biker, or these two parts. So I'm just going to slide this through here. And then now we've got our hole here, which you can see. I'm just going to drop this through that hole. I'm actually going to slide it down some so it's a little easier to work with. I'm not like forcing myself on the other side of it. All right, so now I'm kind of right there in the middle. You should be able to see that screw right there. All right, now I'm just gonna take this guy, and remember the wrench side is faced out towards where your hand is gonna go, right? So we just put it in there, so just like this. So the wrench side's out. We're gonna just slide it in. I'm just gonna do a little bit of twisting here. All right, and oh, I guess we could use, you know, I'll be honest, I'm not really as worried about a little Loctite on this one because these ones have nothing to hold them in. They could just screw right out. These ones, I mean, I'm not that worried about it. I should probably end up doing it though. These are the logic statements we all put ourselves through as we go through this. I'll probably just touch it up with just a little bit, but I just want to see how it feels first. All right, so now that we've got this in there, we do have just the tiniest little place to hold. So I'm just going to use, instead of using the wrench, I'm just going to use the Allen to lock this down. So we're just going to twist here, twist it nice and tight. Not going to go too crazy because I'm going to have to take this out again and do the Loctite. Oh, damn. That is really low profile. That's very nice. So mountain biker, if you watch this, good job, man. Those are pretty sweet. I like that. That is very low profile. So even if you don't really need it, I mean, it just looks better. That's a nice look. So that is basically one down. I'm going to take it out and put some Loctite on the actual bolt because, you know, I don't know. You know, like I said, I don't know if I need to, but why not, right? So we'll just grab this tiny little thing. This thing's hard to get to. You guys might see my bald head coming in here because I got to get an angle on that and I can't see it. So my eyes are fading. My hair's gone. I mean, what else are you going to do? That's why I got to build muscles. So, you know, I didn't lose everything. But, all right, so this is coming out really easily. So I'm glad I decided to do a little Loctite on it. Yeah, I could have cranked it down a little tighter, but, I mean, it's not really worth it when I can just throw a little Loctite thread lock on there. All right, so I'm just going to put the tiniest little dollop on there. This time is just going to be tiny, right? So there you go. That's a tiny little dollop. I don't need any more than that. So now I'm going to thread this through. I'm going to put this in there. And remember, it goes on. This is more for myself. I'm sure you guys remember this, but I had to remind myself not to put it on the other way. It feels like you want to, right? Because it's like that narrow side. And you're like, oh, I'll put that one and screw that side in. But the reality is it's the other way. I put together the stand last night, and when I was putting together the stand, I was like, God, it just seems weird. Like it fits weird. And then I kept looking at the box, and I'm like, no, it looks like I got it right. You know, I've got the legs. I have the short side is towards me. You know, for the legs with the little wheels. And I'm like, that's towards me. I don't understand. But then I looked at it again, and I was like, God, it looks like the long legs towards me. And then finally I stood over it and realized I put the legs on backwards. So I had one short leg toward me and one long leg toward me, and it was kind of like bowed out. So anyway, I was just doing it all like in there, and you get caught up in it. And well, I'm sure you guys wouldn't have done that, but that's the story of my life. All right, so this thing works. Look at that. It's very smooth. All right, so pop it out, move it around. I think we're all set there, guys. So this one is done. But if you guys like this, if you want to see the review of the Rep Pepins, you want to get my thoughts on them, you know, kind of what I think comparatively. I've used commercial dumbbells for the last 2 years. Before that, I used Power Blocks, Newellbells, Iron Masters. I've used the Bowflex, all the other ones. I've got another review in there of the primary differences between the Power Blocks and of the Power Blocks, Newellbells, and Iron Masters. So you can watch that. These are the new Power Blocks, the Power Block 100s, which I'll review. I actually have those here, so I'm gonna do a comparison between these and the Power Block 100s, because when I got rid of my commercial set, which I actually just walked out of the door today, I did shed a tear at the time, but you know, I had to test out a couple of them to decide which one I wanted. And I did try out these Rep Pepins at the Home Gym Con, and I liked them a lot. I just wasn't sure. I do have very fond memories of my Power Blocks, so you know, I decided to try a pair of those, thinking that that might be the solution. And then I got these, and I'm comparing them kind of side by side. So if you're interested in that content, just let me know. And you know, I'll be releasing that content probably in a few weeks here. I want to give these a little bit more of a spin, try them with a lot of different exercises, get some, you know, B-roll of like, so you can see which exercises I feel better about these ones than the Power Blocks, and which ones I like on the Power Block versus these ones. So you know, like and subscribe if you enjoyed it.